Is Mileena as bad as people say in Mortal Kombat 1, or are they just not using her correctly? Well, the answer lies somewhere in between. But before we get into all of that, let's look at her community art. And it's a commission that Trey Arts did of Natara and Buffy. I would lose my mind if Buffy would make it in as a guest character in MK1. Honestly, I don't know why this hasn't been done before, because she is such an iconic character from a cult classic show that everyone that grew up in the 90s, you know, and was a teenager in the early 2000s knows who Sarah Michelle Gellar is and knows who Buffy is. This art is truly beautiful as always. Trey Art makes some great pieces all the time. I will leave a link to their Twitter or X or whatever in the description of the video as usual if you want to go like it, repost it, whatever it. So why are people saying Mileena is bad when literally every pro has her pretty high up on tier lists? Is it because it's incorrect, or is there something else at play here? Well, I personally have mained Mileena since the game release, the early release actually on the 14th, and I believe she is a very strong character. It doesn't mean that she doesn't have weaknesses, but I think she is extremely good. It works really well with most cameos in the game. Now, the people's gripes with Mileena, right, is because that her 1-2 string can be flawless blocked, because it becomes negative 15 if it is flawless, which is fully punishable, right? However, I feel like that doesn't matter at all in this game, because the problem is people are playing this like it's MK11, but it is so far from MK11. If you just look at the tools that most characters have, which is a lot of high starters, pokes are super negative on block, and you can actually with punish pokes in neutral in this game, which you couldn't do in MK11, right? It was a mash fest up close, and NRS didn't want a repeat of this, so they changed the game drastically. It feels a lot more neutral heavy, even though MK11 was somehow praised for being neutral heavy, but in my opinion, MK11's neutral was the scrubbiest game ever, because MK1 is meant to be played slower, not in your opponent's face. Even though it feels like a faster game because of the longer combos, you're supposed to whiff punish, right? This is whiff punish the game, literally. And sure, up close pressure and block pressure is important in this game as well, but most of the time you actually want to be more neutral and baiting whiffs, you know, to get that punish. So here's my point. If you encounter people, right, in a combat league, or you play a set against really good players, and you realize that her flawless blocking Mileena's 1-2 string, well, what do? Do you just continue doing it and eating like a 50% combo? Of course not, of course not. You just do a standing one, back up, bait their punish, whatever they do, right, block it, or whiff punish their punish. This is the name of the game, and it's literally fighting game 101. This is a concept that has been around for ages, and it seems that the Mortal Kombat community does not want to learn that. They just want to go in and do 50-50s that have no risk at all whatsoever, and not actually learn the fundamentals of fighting games. If I see people say that Mileena is bad because of 1-2 can be flawless blocked, immediately I'm like, okay, this person has a crap neutral. I don't even need to see clips of them playing the game. Like, at some point when something doesn't work, you need to come up with a strategy. That is also fighting game 101, you know. Adaptability is the biggest skill you can develop to get better at fighting games. But enough preaching about that. Let's look at Mileena's weaknesses, right? Because she does have weaknesses. She is a bit stubby. She doesn't have full screen projectiles. But does that really matter in this game? Because most projectiles in this game, you can react with down teleport and punish people full screen for either using it or for reading that they're going to do it. Some of them are pretty slow, like Sub's Ice Ball, and I think Shang Tsung's straight fireballs you can actually react to. A lot of the other ones you really have to read it, right? Because down teleport is pretty slow startup. But here's something I discovered myself yesterday while playing with my friends. A ball roll is one of the best whiff punisher tool that Mileena has, which is so stupid, right? You read that they're going to throw a projectile at you. Guess what? Projectiles are highs. Mileena ball roll will go right under it and it will punish the person. Y'all know, like, Lime players, they like throwing that freaking projectile. Just roll under it, punish it. Serena, roll under it, punish it. They whiff, but you're too far away, and you know Mileena's forward 2 is too slow to reach, or her 1-2 just won't reach. Ball roll. It's a full combo. It is free full combo punish by Mileena, and we all know how this woman hits like a freaking truck. So yeah, she is missing some things. She is stubby. She has some slow highs, right? It can be a flawless blocked for a full punish. However, if you play this game like it's meant to be played, Mileena is a freaking menace. And not only that, people don't talk about the fact that she is literally safe on every single string that she has on block. Every single one is safe. Even the best overhead in the game, which also breaks armor, which is a forward 4, it's safe. I mean, it's -7, right? You lose your turn, but you can still block after. Or you can duck if you read that they're gonna throw you. Punishable thing she has is if they flawless block her. So to say that she's bad because of that makes no sense to me and will never make sense to me. Because aside from Johnny, she's one of the safest characters in this game. And not only that, you can add cameos to the mix to keep her safe at all times. So her weaknesses is she's stubby, lots of highs, some of them pretty slow, and no full screen presence. However, if you compare that with all the strengths that she has, the fact that she hits like a truck whenever she touches you, she whiff punishes like no other. She works well with most cameos. A lot of them will keep her safe, will keep your opponent guessing, will make her offense, especially her block pressure, even scarier than it is. Some cameos like Kung Lao will give her actual mix. Cyrax will give her chip damage and really crazy pressure, as well as easily hit confirmable full freaking combos if they stop blocking at any point during the Cyrax copter. And I think you'll see by the footage that I'm showing you on screen, these are my matches yesterday in the Combat League. Cyrax is done with her. But there are issues that aren't being addressed. And I really hope NRS will fix these, but Mileena has a lot of bugs. I feel like I haven't encountered them a lot since the last patch, so maybe they did some fix on that front, but Mileena's ball roll, if you EX it, right, if they're too high up in the air, it will still hit them. However, the animation where she stabs their feet and then goes into like the grab thing, she doesn't do that. She will stab the ground and it'll whiff the opponent completely, leaving you vulnerable, a full combo punish. So that is really freaking annoying when it happens. Obviously, you can do the combos and wait a bit to do EX ball roll so that it doesn't happen, because it only happens if they're really high up in the air, right? But for a bug to cost you a round, that shouldn't happen in a competitive fighting game, right? We can all agree that that should be fixed pronto. Also, another issue, when she uses ball roll, sometimes her direction will not autocorrect. Let's say Mileena is on the right and she ball rolls to the left, she'll keep looking right instead of turning to face the opponent on the left. So that messed me up so many times, especially in the corner when you want to go into ball roll, standing 4 and fatal blow, right? She will actually kick them in the right direction with standing 4, but then the fatal blow will happen the complete opposite way that the opponent is facing. And that 100% needs to be looked at. And it's not a case of nerf or buff, right? This is really, it's a bug, right? It shouldn't happen. Just like how her 1-2 string actually whiffs on a crouch blocking Baraka. And it's the only character that this happens against, and he can full combo punish her for that without flawless blocking it, right? So the Baraka matchup already feels bad because of Cyrax and how stupid he makes him, but the fact that you can't even use 1-2 on Barakas when they're blocking because of a bug, again, it is so annoying. This also needs to be fixed. So I understand when people say that it's frustrating to play her, especially because there's so many Baraka Cyraxes in Combat League right now, but all of that stuff, all of these bugs don't make her bad. I feel like some, you know, more popular people in the community will say stuff like, oh, Mileena's bad, and then more casual players will just believe it, right? And they'll be like, oh, that's why I've been losing with her. But the truth is, the character is not the problem, it's you. And I don't mean this to be harsh. I mean this as there's always room to improve for everyone. If you do something against someone and it doesn't work and you don't want to learn, you don't want to lab, you don't want to get better, then clearly the problem is not the character, right? Because we've seen a lot of players win tournaments with bottom tier characters, mainly Sonic Fox. Y'all remember the MK11 tournament where he won with Devora, before the buffs. Just because he wanted to prove a point to the player makes all the difference. And I'm not saying anyone can achieve this with a really bottom tier character, right? Because obviously pros are pros for a reason. Top tiers, bottom tiers actually matter in their case because they can use characters to their full potential. But what I'm saying is, if we're to base a tier list on the matchups that you personally struggle against, then the entire cast would be an S+. But that doesn't make any sense, right? It's not because that you struggle against a bad character or that you're bad with a good character that the bad character is good and that the good character you're playing is bad. Mileena is in an extremely good place right now. She doesn't need any nerfs. She doesn't need any buffs. Her 1-2 flawless blockable keeps her honest. All of her highs that are slow keeps her honest. The deciding factor in all of this is really the cameos. Because for what weaknesses you have in this game, or a character has in this game, you can remove that weakness or lessen it to some extent with cameos, with assists. Let's say your character has a string that is punishable on block. Well, use something like Kozlow hat, use Goro, right? Your character doesn't have a good projectile, then use an assist that has a full screen projectile. Anyways, I love Mileena, and I hate to see people not having fun playing her because they're just not playing her the right way, and they're being gaslit into thinking that she's bad when she's really not. I do have a video on how to play Mileena in Mortal Kombat 1, but that was a few weeks ago and I've learned so much more with her, so maybe I will do like a more tips on how to play Mileena video type of deal. Anyways, I hope you got something out of this video. If not, well, I hope it was fun to listen to me ramble about Mileena for like, I don't know how many minutes while you're doing work or whatever it is you're doing right now. You can follow me on Twitter at VSlayerMK if you want to do so. And as always, have yourselves an awesome day, an awesome long weekend, and I'll see you all very soon.